And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Got that homework ready for you. Officer Broaddus.
Oh, my gosh. You actually did something you said you were going to do today, huh?
Did a little bit of work for you today, bro. We got 5 players. We was going to watch 2.
5 players.
The other day, but we gonna get through these 5, Brian. I hope everybody got a chance to do y'all's homework. I shouldn't be patronizing anybody about their damn homework, but we got 5 players tonight, Brian. I love when we play the order in which I like to hate these guys, but go ahead. I love that.
Hey, yeah. Have you heard anything about this coaching search at all? Other than this guy keeps interviewing, you heard anything different? Am I missing anything? I know I left the station here about an hour ago, but no news.
No, nothing
going on.
Nothing new.
Nothing.
Nobody
putting anything out that this guy's our head coach yet or anything like that.
Let me run the Twitter. Not to my knowledge, man. I've been
I didn't know. I hadn't been around my phone the last hour, so I didn't know if in fact we have a new head coach or something like that. So before we get into the homework assignment.
Nah, Brian, as I click on my followers, nope, because it'll be blown up if we have gotten a new coach.
Yeah, okay, cool. All right, here we go. We're still waiting for a head coach. All right, good enough. What players you got?
Let your ass know something I don't know. All right, so
I don't know. No. I trust me, if I knew, I'd break news on our show.
Yeah.
I'd absolutely break news. I heard something was interesting, but we're trying to get an idea. Is this for a head coach? Is this for the OC? What is this all about?
Yeah.
I was on the break on DallasCowboys.com today with Nick Harris. Nick threw it out there. He's like, listen, hey, this might not be for the head coaching job. Now Nick's admitting, he goes, hey, I might have egg on my face and all that. But he's got his sources, and to be honest with you, I hope Nick Harris is right.
Yeah.
I hope it's another. I hope it's shoddy. I will tell you that I did talk to Mike Zimmer today, and Mike Mike told me that if Schottenheimer were to get the job, that he would not be the defensive coordinator here. But Mike, and this is, let's be honest, Mike's been passed over several times by the Dallas Cowboys now.
Yeah.
They've had 10 coaches in the history of the team, and he's worked for 6 of them. And I think he's been passed over 4 times. So
sure.
Mike's kind of that point of like, listen, bro, my winning percentage is what it is. I've felt like, I got teams in the playoffs, these guys know me. I don't think that he's necessarily interested in working with, and no disrespect to Brian Schottenheimer, but Mike's like, damn, what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
And I don't blame him. I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all. Yeah. But if he gets passed over again, I think we'll be looking for a different defensive coordinator if Brian Schottenheimer. That's just talking to Mike today about it.
Yeah. Brian, if you had to put these players in order.
Okay. The ones from you like to hate or hate to like?
Like to hate today. We always do the least liked last. We always do those guys last, Brian.
All right, the least like. I'm gonna guess you liked Josiah Stewart first.
No. Okay.
Am I right with that?
No, but I got him in the 3rd, Brian. So that's a start there.
Okay. I'm going to say then you probably then like Tre Harris, the Ole Miss wide receiver, the best then.
I got a 2nd round grade on him.
Okay.
I got him first.
After that, I'm going to say you're probably going to like Hunter, the running back from Auburn.
Jarquez Hunter is my 4th guy. Barron is 5. You already know what time it is. You already know what time it is.
And the Rutgers kid is 3.
Mananga is 3. I had a lot of fun watching our guy Stewart. Josiah
Interesting
Stewart?
Player. Yeah.
Very interesting
player.
Very interesting.
Very interesting player. You want to start with him? Michigan Edge.
Josiah Stewart.
Don't scout the helmet, scout the player.
Bro, right? let me tell you what happened.
Oh, you started scouting the helmet.
No, I don't do that. I watched his USC game first.
Oh my God.
Boy.
Yeah. Have they touched him yet?
And I say, I say, hey, this one we got another one.
has my man when he handed in his uniform at the end of that USC game,
hey,
they didn't have to wash it because there was not a Trojan lineman that laid a hand on him that game. That was impressive, wasn't it?
Brian,
that was impressive. I was kind of scrambling, like, please tell me, is USC this bad at tackle? But no, man, this kid plays that well. That was a really good game for him.
USC, I watched Texas. I watched one other game, like Penn State or something.
Penn State, yeah, Penn State.
I must say USC is his best game.
It is his best game.
And I must say that there is a noticeable bit of drop-off from the USC game to his next games, but I still do enjoy the film. The first thing that you're going to say is that he's not the biggest player in the world. He's like 6'1",
245.
245.
Yeah.
Probably going to be an outside linebacker standing up for you. That's all right.
Yeah.
Brian, this dude plays with a lot of intensity, man.
You're not lying.
You're dude not lying about flies upfield.
Did you put him on your board? I'm sorry. Did you put him on your board as an outside linebacker?
I got him as edge because that's all the same thing to me.
Okay, gotcha.
All the same thing. Very disruptive. Flies up the field, plays with a great deal of energy. Can be strong sometimes if you let him get his hands inside your pants.
Yeah.
And it's almost surprising to some of these guys, Brian, because they end up on the ground if he'll get up under you and shuck you a little bit. A lot of those guys end up on the ground. I think he's fantastic versus the run, Bryan Broaddus. For an outside linebacker stand-up guy, I think he sets the edge really well. Brian, you ever seen him long arm one of those guys and just stand their ass up? You ever seen him pull towards his direction and he comes in and smash that kick block, Brian? I say, damn, he has some awareness of the run game paired with that ridiculous aggression. What a guy! And as a pass rusher, what the hell is coaching for, Brian? This is where we at with it. Not watching USC, he's a notorious run down the middle of you guy, but that's all right.
Sure.
That's all right. He gets a little high, and he runs down the middle of you. Don't watch USC and don't watch nothing else because you'll think he's a first-round player off of that. But if you watch some of his other tape versus the Texas guys, which are they are two players. That's two NFL
We're talking
dudes.
about a first round and second round potentially offensive tackles. Yeah.
That game went a little differently than the USC game. And then Penn State was more like the Texas game than the USC game. So in my mind, run game, you ain't got to touch him. He's good to go. But what's going to make him really good is if he develops a pass rush plan, pass rush counters, and more tools. But he's out here whooping people with focus and sheer will and ass whoop and strength and disruption, Brian. That's where I'm at with it. If he was a little more polished and not so high and not so run down the middle of you guy, I would have him high to mid-second round on my board. But I got him right in the middle of the third there. I got him ahead of Sawyer and after Landon Jackson. That's where I got him, Brian.
Man, I'll tell you what, I think you gave a great report on this kid, and you're absolutely right. I went back and watched the Penn State game from 23 is what I did. Yeah. And this kid's a transfer from Coastal Carolina. And like he was a freshman All-American. I went back and looked this up. He had 12 and a half sacks, his first season. And man, I just said shorter, twitchy edge rusher. Excellent speed for the position. He's a real feel for how to attack the blocker and work the edges. Explosive first step, get on the blocker in a hurry, then able to break them down with a variety of moves. This is kind of starting up with the USC games and stuff like that. Yeah. And I said high motor, high effort, able to show intensity throughout the contest. We'll observe him dropping into coverage off the edge or rushing the passer. I said just crushed the USC tackles off the edge, had no answer for his speed off the edge, couldn't get a hand on him. But he showed nice strength for his lack of bulk. He's a 245-pound guy, 6'1".
Yeah.
But he'll take blockers on, he'll stack them, he'll push them aside. there's some snap to his game when setting the edge.
Yeah.
He's not the longest guy, but he's able to control block with what he has. Likely a situational player that's used as an edge rusher. His quickness, his technique, his movement skills will give NFL blockers some problems. He's shown real possibilities for twist stunts, game packages, something like that. Sack numbers improved each season of play. So I think what you're saying about him rushing down the middle, I do agree. I do agree on that. And I think there's going to need to be some work on that.
Yep.
But the effort, the twitchiness, and I think he understands how to get to the quarterback. I think it's some of these guys, like, you remember, like some of these guys you watch and they just run past.
Tyreek Wilson. Tyreek Wilson was a good one.
These guys just, he's got a feel for where the quarterback is and then get there, whether it's around, coming around the horn or coming on the twist stunt.
Sure. This
kid's got a feel for that. And I think, like I say, his strength, I think he surprises people with how, 6'1", 2, playing with some leverage.
Yeah.
But man, every time I watch this kid play, I'm like, I think he gets it. I think he gets it. But you're right about rushing down the middle. And you always say, hey, that's what coaching's for. Yeah. Somebody's going to work with him, because I think he does have that, the cross chop, the pull the hands down, the rip moves and stuff. I think he's got that.
Sure.
I just wish he would be able to use it a little bit more in his rush. I have him in the top of the 3rd round.
Yep.
Okay. Now I've got him on my board. See, now this is where I'm having trouble, because, I've got the Boston College kid, with the edge. I've got him in the bottom of the 2nd. I've got Kennard in the bottom of the 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to see if I got Stewart. Where is he better than Kennard? Because again, he's now on top of all the non-twitchy guys,
sure.
In the 3rd round.
Yeah.
But I've got Green and Pierce and our kid from Ole Miss, our kid from Boston College, and then Kennard. I've got these guys all kind of there in the 2nd round.
Yeah.
I'm trying to determine, is Josiah Stewart, Michigan, better than Kennard from South Carolina, who I have in the last guy of the 2nd round.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I'm trying to determine there.
I got Kennard over Stewart because I feel like Kennard has a better feel for the rush. At this point, Stewart is still a madman that just wants to just blow everything up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But Kennard does have a little control to him, as to where the guys ahead of him got a lot of control. I kind of got him under Landon and under Scorden. Maybe I'm being phony with Landon and Scorden. I got him in the 3rd here, but I felt like size kind of mattered, and Scorden may not be a top 5 guy, but I can see a guy like Scorden using his size, being a rundown guy. I can see him existing there and being a better, being a better ready to go guy right now. I do think Stewart needs some work.
He's bigger.
Much bigger.
Yeah.
So I got, and that's probably why I got him and Landon Jackson from Arkansas over Stewart. But in real life, they're two different players, because Stewart is outside linebacker edge. They're heavy 290 dudes. But I got him right ahead of Sawyer, right behind Scorden and Jackson, and I might change that.
Man, I was trying to keep it pretty consistent with the twitchies and the non-twitchies, but I was trying to determine, like, we got all those twitchies like in the 2nd round.
Yeah.
But does he
Senior Bowl coming. Senior Bowl's coming.
I think the size, I think 6'1", 245 is probably going to, but damn, I mean, how big is our guy from our edge there from Marshall? He about
that size, yeah. He about that size.
Yeah,
he's probably a little taller.
6'4", 248.
Yeah, much taller.
I mean, it's 3 inches taller and about 3 pounds heavier.
Yeah.
And here I've got that guy, like the top of the 2nd round, like player 16, player 17.
But Mike Green doesn't run down the middle of people. That's the difference.
That's a good point.
If you can keep Josiah from running down the middle of people bigger than him,
that's a good point. It's a good point.
But Josiah many times you said it, Brian. Surprising people with that shock in the hands and that strength. He shocked me, man. But Senior Bowl's coming up, so I'm real gonna have to see him. Let's get into Tre Harris, Bryan Broaddus. The people have been bugging the hell out of us about Tre Harris, the wide receiver from Ole Miss, and he's another interesting study, Brian.
Mm-hmm.
Bonafide yak guy, one big strong muscle, plays on the football, right? Like he goes to get the football. Strong hands. He
does it, yeah.
Strong hands and all that, Brian. One thing I was kind of confused about. I don't think he's a great route runner.
Nope.
But he double moves the shit out of people devastatingly. Every time he'll get wide the hell open, you go, damn, how did he get wide that hell open? You go back.
I watched him do it to LSU. Yeah, a couple times.
You bring him back and he's double moving somebody and it's devastating, and it looks like he runs routes well. He just doesn't run the layups well.
I don't think he runs. I don't think Ole Miss has, and this is no offense to Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin and those guys. I don't think they run
slants, bubbles, and nines.
Yeah. I mean, crossers, screens.
AJ Brown. That's the AJ Brown program, bro. AJ Brown don't run routes. He runs to landmarks. He catches bubbles, slants, and nines. That's what he does. And I think Tre Harris is a guy like that. You working within your offense to get him open and let him be hard to tackle. He's hard to tackle, Brian. And he is hard. And he looks to run people over, and they have an issue bringing him down, man. And I think he has some really good size on him, man. I haven't seen him.
I think 6'4". I think he's 6'4". What I have him at 6'4", maybe 250. Am I right about the 250? Let me see.
He ain't 250. He
6'4", 210. 6'3", 210. 6'3", 210.
Yeah. Big play guy, but the scheme kind of holds him back because they don't really allow him to do a whole bunch. So now you can only imagine what he could do if they let him run some bang eights or some little corners. You know what I'm saying? But I like the player, Brian. I got him in the second round after Savion Williams. So one thing about Tre Harris that's gonna give him some issue. I don't know how fast he's gonna run.
That's what I know in my notes that when I was watching him play, this kid, again, just his history, he's a transfer from Louisiana Tech. And so he is as strong a frame of a guy you're going to see, and he plays inside, outside. And we've talked about, remember our kid from Iowa State. Remember Higgins, right?
Yeah.
Remember Higgins. And so I'm sitting there thinking about Higgins, and I'm thinking about, okay, big guy, box him out, make catches. This guy, I mean, he can make a lot of contested catches. And that's when you see a guy that's always making contested catches, back shoulders, fades. There's some questions about how fast can these guys really, really, really run. I kind of felt like, though, I didn't call him an explosive player as an athlete, but I said he runs well enough.
I think he is, though.
I think he builds speed as he goes. I think if you let him run, he kind of the stride and he looks and he'll run by people. I mean, damn, he was running by my guys at LSU. I was watching. I'm like, here we go again. Just going to run right by my guy, But man, he is. You're right about the ability. The strong in the red zone, strong down the field. Outstanding when it comes to breaking tackles, creating yards after receptions. I mean, he's kind of a beast when it comes to those things. So this is what I did with him, because I had him in the top of the third round, and I put him ahead of Higgins because I know Higgins can't run. I know Higgins can't run. But, here we are, poor Bond from Texas. He gets kicked down another notch, and, he's just going to keep getting kicked down. But, Golden, Texas, Williams from TCU, our Stanford guy, Besh from TCU, all second-round guys. Top of the third, Tre Harris, Higgins, Bond are my guys in the third round. I'm trying to determine, should I have Tre Harris, Ole Miss, maybe ahead of Besh from TCU. Do you have him ahead? You had Besh in the third, don't you?
I haven't watched Besh yet, but
Besh, yeah, okay, I'm sorry, you have not.
Okay. So right now, Brian, I got him in the the bottom of my second round guys.
Okay,
But I
yeah, there you go.
assume
That's where I have Besh. Yeah.
I assume the more we watch film on these guys, that may change or whatever. So that's just where I got him right now. I do like him better than Higgins and the kid from Miami, but I think Savion Williams and Alec Ayomayor run a little better than him. So that that matters more. So I got him at the bottom of the second. He could easily be a top of the third guy. It just depends on what these next few wide receivers are going to be.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. I mean, I was trying to think, is this guy better than Besh from TCU? And I was having problems, but both of them make plays down the field. Both of them run inside. Besh is probably a better route runner. Probably a better route runner when you look at him. I'll be interested to see what you think about him when you have the opportunity to get to him.
I will watch him tomorrow and we'll talk about him. But like the player though, Tre Harris, we like the player, and Josiah Stewart. Bryan, I like this Kyle Mananga kid, man. Bryan, I was looking at running backs, and you can kind of get a feel about where you're placing guys, what round and all that kind of stuff. So I just knew I was in my fourth round era I'm just at the point where I'm just putting running backs in the fourth round. Not only do I have Mananga in the third, but I like him better than a running back from Arizona State, Bryan Broaddus. Scatterbo. I like him better than Scatterbo.
Oh wow! All right. So you have Scatterbo. You have him in the bottom of the third or the fourth round.
Bottom of the third.
The fourth.
Bottom of the third right now. Bottom of the third right now. And I'm watching Kyle Mananga, and he's one of my favorite types of running backs. So this is me sharing something with you. I love the one cut backs with power on the back end. Boy, do I love the one cut backs with the, and look, he's not huge like some of these other guys. Like some of these other guys, like 220, 230 or something like that.
Oh no, he's a shorter guy, yeah.
But I love patience. I love vision. I love the ability to put a foot in the ground and fly. And he's not a blazing speed guy like some of our other juice guys, and he's not the biggest guy, but he's very consistent with his finding a hole patiently. One cut, bam, and go, and then he'll finish the run. Finishing the run matters to me. He's not a run out of bounds guy. They didn't feature him in the passing game as such, not too much. But when he did catch the ball, he caught it, and then he turned into the running back again. Cool, fine. I think he has the tools to be a great blocker. I don't think he's quite there yet. I think it's some processing things that he kind of got to pick up blocking wise or whatever. But Kyle Mananga was a guy that I saw Rutgers kind of lean on, Bryan Broaddus, and I watched him. The one game that impressed the piss out of me was against Washington. And those guys were just dragging feet trying to get to Kyle Mananga here. And when they got to him, they just had a hard time bringing him down. I said, look what they're doing to Washington over there. So I got Mananga at the bottom of the third, Bryan. I got him after Harvey, Sampson, and Henderson.
Yeah, I have him at the top of the fourth. I you know what? I was wondering if if I was watching our little running back Deuce, you know what I'm saying? I was wondering if I was, when you talking about the 5'9", 210-pound guy, was I watching, that's kind of where I thought, initially, but this kid is interesting. When you think about his career, and he played behind Isaiah Pacheco, who went on to Kansas City. This kid was a special teamer. That's how he really kind of got his start at Rutgers. He's short, he's dense, he's built, dense, thick. He's built low to the ground. I think you mentioned this, I think he's got exceptional vision. He's got exceptional patience as a runner. He could find creases in the defense. He could bounce the ball when things get bunched up in the middle. He has a powerful lower body, that allows him to gain yards after contact. He could turn a potential negative play into a big one. I think he's a durable runner, physical with the ball in his hands. The more they handed it to him, the better he played. And so I like that aspect of him, the burst to and through the hole. He could get to the second level quickly, reliable when it comes to catching the football. You mentioned that. I didn't see any problems with check downs or screens or anything like that. I thought he lacked elite top end speed to consistently break off those really long runs. You can see him getting fetched in the open field on a couple of these times. I think he needs to play in an offense where they use him like a zone runner, take that ball, like I said, and then kind of make that cut. The thing that really excites me about the kid, though, he was very productive in the Big Ten, and I think that will bode well for him in the NFL.
Yeah.
But his lack of height is going to limit him in some roles.
Sure.
This guy I did a little metric work on him. He had 865 yards after contact, which was the 34th best in the country. He also forced 66 missed tackles, which was good enough for 17th in the country. So elusive, yes. Durable, yes. Tough, yes. Short, yes. But, the kid's paid his dues there. Like I say, played behind Pacheco with, and who's now at Kansas City. And we've seen how well, he's played. So give this kid a lot of credit for where he's at. I have him in the top of the fourth.
Sure.
I've got Neal above him. Neal is my last guy in the third.
Okay.
And I like Neal a little bit better overall, maybe because this kid, the shortness of this kid being 5'9", Neal being a little bit taller type of a back. That's kind of where I went with this one.
Bryan, and I'll tell you something that I got to get better at, scouting wise, right? Because NFL scouts care nothing about if you're good or not. They like traits.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of these guys like traits over if you're a good running back or not. I think Mananga is more of a good running back than he has traits. Devin Neal's like that too. Devin Neal's a damn good running back, but when you read the report, he doesn't come off as traits guy. So these guys might be day 3 guys. Like you can have
no question. Yeah.
You can have Neal in the third, and I can have Mananga in the third, but they'll read those traits. The shortness, they may not have the arms or the wide receiver route running and stuff like that. They don't have top end speed, and that's really going to hurt Neal and this guy here, Kyle. They might be 4th round guys because they don't have the traits, even though they're great running backs and they got the production to back it up. But they're gonna fall.
I think any other draft, and we've seen the last couple of drafts where there's been quality running backs. Guys like these guys probably would be a little bit higher than they're on boards, but the quality, the depth, this kid, like I said, I mean, I'm still trying to figure out what they're going to do with Deuce Vaughn. That's, when I was looking, did it make you think about Deuce Vaughn when you're watching this kid a little bit, or
nah? Deuce is 5'5" at least. This character,
I know, but
I'm
seeing like this. I'm seeing this shorter kind of fire hydrant built kid running the football, but he's productive, man. I mean, he is damn productive, and Rutgers is, that Rutgers now that they got, they got their coach back, they've been playing some pretty good football here.
Yeah.
So,
Bryan, why don't you lead us off with these last two? Tell us what you thought about Jarquez Hunter, the running back from Auburn.
Yeah. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to talk about this kid. I'll say this about Hunter. I mean, I'm watching him run the ball against Alabama, Georgia, Texas A&M. And I'm going, damn. I mean, like, okay,
that's a tough schedule.
Here we go. Yeah. But this kid has excellent Jarquez Hunter. He's from Auburn. He wears number 27. He's 5'10", 209. He's got excellent vision for the position. He's got quickness. He's got lateral agility. He's got the ability to break some tackles. He's played through several different schemes, and he's been productive in every scheme. They've changed coaches there like we changed socks. And it's just every year he had to play with a different scheme. He plays with a burst, and he's got contact balance. You see him like get hit, maintains his level of his feet, able to make jump cuts in order to kind of get through a hole if he has to. He can get small, lowers pads, and then accelerate through the hole. I think the pad level, the way he ran, the lower the shoulder to get the extra yards, he can make defenders miss in the open field. As a pass catcher, I think he could be productive. They kind of run some traditional routes with him, but they'll also use him out wide in the formation as well. So you could see him not only play as a running back and the traditional things that we see, but also out there wide, kind of like what they do with the Ohio State, those Ohio State running backs. I think this is another one of those really good zone runners. 23 carries of 15 plus yards for the season. He forced 58 missed tackles. He averaged 6.5 yards a carry. But he doesn't appear to be moving fast.
No,
but he is.
Yeah,
but he is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I respect the different kind of the styles that he's had to play in, and the fact he's been productive. Like I say, this kid doesn't look like he's moving fast, but then they umpile and he's down the field. He's got to the edge. He's got through the hole. I have him. I have Rutgers that we just talked about before him. I have both these guys sitting on my board in the 4th round. Wouldn't be surprised if this kid went sooner. I'm sure they're going to have to sort out Neal, our Rutgers kid, and Hunter from Auburn. Yeah. And Junkins. I think we're going to have to, I think Harvey and Simpson, those guys. Now you talked about Scatterbo.
Yeah.
I'll be interested to see where Gang of 7 around my league has Scatterbo.
Sure.
I kind of feel like he's a 3rd round guy. He might be a 4th round guy. He's going to measure right around 5'9". So he's going to be probably the same height as our Rutgers guy, so keep an eye on that.
Bryan, I'm watching Jarquez Hunter.
Yeah.
And boy, you need some context when you're watching him, Bryan. You just can't watch one game. He got film all the way back in 2021. So I watched some of it. I said, why not? How many times did you see this dude run into a pile?
Yeah.
And emerge from the other side of the pile and break a big one?
Crazy. Yeah, it was crazy.
Bryan,
it was.
He looks awkward when he tall chest.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Looks kind of like he's stumbling.
Kind of lumbering a little bit.
It looks like
not lumbering. Yeah, yeah.
But he's running past people. He has a very weird run style. When I thought he was slow. I'm like, man, you can't be small and slow. You can be 230 and slow. You can't be little bitty and slow. But you watch him run away from people, slow looking, right?
Yeah.
And you see him catch the ball out the backfield. Great hands.
Yeah.
Run slow, pass people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he's a very interesting watch, Bryan. And as I was watching him, I wanted to put him like in the bottom of the 4, but he kept producing. And the more I kept watching, the more he kept producing. And he kept running in the piles.
Yeah.
And emerging off the other side of it and breaking the big. He finds a way to break he finds a way to break tackles and not get brought down, brothers. And I think that's your job as a running back for real. It don't look pretty, but that's your job as a running back. So I got him in the 4th behind Neal and Judkins.
Okay.
I can see him being better than that, though.
You know what? I'm glad. I feel better because I thought you were going to put him in the 3rd.
No.
And I'm like, Voch is going to like this guy because he's tough. And and as you mentioned, he gets in there, he goes in the darkness, and he comes out the other side.
I love that about him.
And I'll tell you what, like I say, I admire the kid because he's played in so many different schemes and just stuck it out. Probably could have left, probably could have done something else. Yeah. But man, he is a tough guy. And when he plays on Sunday, I don't know if he's going to be playing here for the Cowboys, but when he plays on Sunday, he's probably going to be a pretty productive guy.
Yep.
He's probably going to be a pretty productive player.
You would agree that all these guys should be in a tandem, right? Like him and our guy from Rutgers, they should be in a tandem. Just make sure. And man, Bryan, boy, we got another big boy to throw there.
Don't even. I don't even want to go here. I just do not. It's another one of those damn edges that I just don't. I don't feel good about any of my edge guys.
He's a big boy too, Bryan. He's a big boy. He just runs down the middle. He runs down the middle. He doesn't get off the ball well, but he's big, and I guess he's traits guy at this point, Bryan. I guess he does have like size and length. You can look at him and see that.
Yeah, he's transferred from Tennessee. Like I say, you're talking about Tyler Barron.
Now, see, Bryan, in Tennessee, they played him in B-gap a bunch.
I know.
They play him in B gap now, but it was him and Norman Lott next to each other a lot last year.
Yeah. I know.
That was interesting.
I mean, yeah. Here we go. This kid's from he went to school at Tennessee, played, a lot of his career at Tennessee, and then transfer his last year to Miami. This kid, I watched Florida, I watched Louisville, I watched Florida A&M, and I'll tell you why I watched Florida A&M, because he had sacks.
Yep.
He had sacks. And so I wanted to see, well, okay, how does he sack people? Well, he sacks because he does initially have a pretty good get off.
Yeah.
But he'll play with his hand down. He'll also stand up. I'm not really sure he has the burst that I've seen from some of these other edges. You know what I'm talking about? That get up the field burst. I think the get off is good. I don't think it's a burst. Yep. But here we are. His rush lacks some consistency from it. And there's snaps where he gets to the edge and others that he gets stuck, and it's difficult for him to disengage. He tends to play high and he'll struggle. He plays in a rotating system, so it shouldn't have a problem with fatigue, but it appears there's times that he gets a little wore down when you watch him play. I saw him line up on both sides of the defense. He can be hit and miss as a run defender. There's snaps where he's extending on the blocker, locating the ball, and working in that direction in order to make the play. And then there are other snaps where he gets tied up, he loses track where he is, and the ball goes right by him. I thought once he got in position, he was a good tackler. He can get his man on the ground. He played with a shoulder harness on his right shoulder. So, man, I see that lineman shoulder harness bit. Yeah. I'm thinking, okay, is this something we play with all the time, or do we have one of those shoulders that goes in and out?
Yep.
We have a Matt, well, let's go situation, shoulder going in and out. But we need to check that out. 3 of his 10 sacks came against Florida A&M. So I had to try and find that game, and he did. He ate him up. It was like, it was like watching our guy Stewart play against USC.
Yeah.
But he's had some really productive games, and then he's fallen off the map in some other ones. Is in between that run defender group and the twitched up guys I like. Likely more of the run group. He does flashes. He has some flashes that will excite you.
Yeah.
But I don't see that. I don't see that guy that's just down after down after down, getting after the quarterback. I see it in flashes and certain plays and stuff like that. So I can't be as high on him as I am on some of those other edges.
I got him way at the bottom of the 4th, and I ain't got nothing nice to say about him, Bryan. I think he's gonna be a traits guy, and somebody's gonna see the size and the length, and they're gonna
Senior Bowl guy. Is he a Senior Bowl guy?
I believe I believe he's a Senior Bowl guy. Yes, sir.
All right, we'll see. He's got a good chance to prove me wrong. I just could not put him in the group with those other bendy rushing type of guys. I couldn't bring myself to do it.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, he's just like you said, bottom of the 4th round.
Sure.
So
Bryan, where do you have him versus Stewart from Texas A&M?
Stewart's above him.
Okay.
Gelate
from Louisville.
The kid from Louisville. He's above him. Ivy from Ole Miss above him.
Of course.
Those are all my 4th round guys right now.
Yeah.
I've got another group of the Josiah Stewarts and JTT from Ohio State,
right?
Scorton, Sawyer, Jackson.
Yeah.
I think Sawyer from Ohio State.
Yeah.
Might have put himself in the mix of maybe a 2nd round guy with some of these playoff games.
Playing well in big games means something. Yeah.
Yeah, he did. He might be a little bit more of a bendy guy than I'm willing to give credit to him for.
But not on my board, Bryan. I don't play that weird all year.
I know.
And just because you got a good game at the end, you want me to change.
No. I'm with you, man.
But to his credit, he's played against some pretty good competition the last.
Yeah, the great thing about these playoff games is you can catch some pretty. Hey, tell me about Ohio State. Oh, well, they played, You know who they played? They played Tennessee. They played Oregon.
Yeah.
They played the championship game. You know, good competition. All 3 games. Good tape for you to watch if you get your hands on it.
I might move Sawyer up over Scorton or something, Brian, but I ain't gonna.
No, you won't. You know what? I mean, Scorton. You know what? I'm gonna die on that hill.
Yeah.
I've just figured I'm gonna die on that hill.
I agree.
And I'm gonna leave him where he is. And I know that folks who've been following you and I for this process, we talk about him. They know what we think about him. I'm going to die on that hill. I'm going to say, okay, go play NFL football and prove me wrong. Yeah. And if he does, by gosh, you become one of the case studies that, next year when I start talking about 285 pound or 290 pound ends and thinking they're going to be bendy and twitchy and all that, prove me wrong. And I hope he does. I hope all these kids prove me wrong that I'm not too high on right now. Mm-hmm. But I'm gonna die on that hill is what I'm gonna do.
So Brian, I'm rearranging my 3rd round defensive ends. All right, and I'll just tell you how I got it. Don't even hate on me. I'll just tell you how I got it. So the bottom of my 2nd round guys, right? Donovan from Boston College, Kennard, and Michael Williams from Georgia. Okay. The top of my 3rd round is Josiah Stewart.
Yeah.
Jack Sawyer from Ohio State.
Yeah, you gave him a little bump.
Little bump. Landon Jackson from Arkansas.
See, man, that's Landon Jackson at 6'7".
It's interesting, man.
It's interesting, but I don't know how. But
put him at 3.
Put
him at 3 and just let him fly. Yeah. And then I got Scorton. Then I got JT Tuamalaau. Then I got Ivy, Gelati, Barron Stewart.
Man, I think a lot of that JT. I think a lot of JTT Ohio State.
I like him a lot too, man. But these other kids, got some. We might have to down on the Nick Scorton hill, bro. It is what it is.
No, I'm going to die on that hill. I'm already going to let you know, and I'm letting our audience know. I'm going to die on that hill. If in fact he goes and gets, I'll tell you this though. Remember some of the first mock drafts had him in the top 10, had him like top 6.
Kuiper's got him in the 20s.
That's what I'm saying. We're going to start seeing this guy in the 20s.
Kuiper's got him in the 20s.
That's what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. We're going to start seeing this guy in the 20s, and maybe out of the 1st round. Maybe out of the 1st round. I'm not cheering for that. Please, folks, don't.
I want him to be so good and make a lot of money and buy his mama a house and all that. But
prove me, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
My personal opinion. I just, it's just a little different for me, but it is what it is, though, Brian. Ain't no problem.
Yeah, it is.
Man, Brian, this was a really good exercise today, man. I appreciate you breaking down players with me, man. It's always fun to break down players.
Hey, you and I get to play on a draft show tomorrow together, huh?
We get to get in tomorrow. It's me, you, and Tommy, I believe. Me, you, Tommy, and Bobby.
Poor Tommy better wear his goalie equipment.
Hey man, we straight. The one, it'll only get bad if it's like me, you, and then Warchuck or something. Because now we all screaming, and then we're gonna go right, Tommy. Like that's when it'll turn to one of them. But we good to go. We good.
Tommy, I appreciate him. That draft show ain't easy to be on, man. I've been on every one of them. I have been on every one of them, and it's not easy to be on, man. It is not. It is. You can't drive a nail up your ass sometimes on that show because of how tight you are when you walk through those doors.
Let me tell you the hardest part is like me and you talking right now. We just talking.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. When Kyle says, "Voch, tell me about the player," and 5 people go.
Everybody, I get real big. I take my arm and put it across the table like, all right, tell me about this guy, Voch.
You do. You lean on the table and get big.
I'm like, I know what you're about to say.
You
don't even look at me. You don't even look at me. You don't even look over my direction.
Brian,
you know better.
In boxing and Muay Thai, I have been taught that when I'm fighting people, look at them in the chest. Don't look at their eyes. Don't look at their hands. So when I'm talking to you, I look at your chest. I say, "Well, Brian, what's going on?" So I don't see you looking. I don't see you seeing me.
I got you. Just know the eyes are on you, man. Know the eyes are on you.
It's cool.
Tomorrow at 11 a.m. we get to do this.
Tomorrow at 11 we'll do it, and I'll be early. I'll be on time, Brian. And y'all be here tomorrow. What we'll do tomorrow, easy. We'll talk about Josh Besh.
Yeah, I need to. If you could do Besh, the wide receiver would be good.
Yeah, we'll watch him,
and we'll recap the draft show.
And we'll recap. That'll be because look, yesterday we talked about 2 players for 40 minutes, so we can talk about Josh Besh and recap the draft show and be fine. All right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Y'all be sure to follow me at VOCHLONBARDI. We're trying to get paid on these platforms, and Bryan Broaddus. We love y'all 2 pieces. We'll catch y'all next time. Crown.